A healthy, happy relationship takes a lot of work.
But that's a generic statement. We're going to break it down for you and see if you can come away empowered after this video to take your relationship to the next level.
Many couples have asked us if we know the secret to healthy relationships with a spouse or partner or a significant other later in life when you're spending a lot more time together. Our answer has always been yes and no.
I don't like the no part. We know how to do this. Look at us. We're surviving. We're thriving. But have you ever seen, I'm sure you've seen, a picture of the couple, older couple, standing on the beach, holding hands, laughing, staring in each other's eyes? Or have you sat next to an older couple on an airplane and listened to their magical conversation? Eavesdropped on their rich conversation. I know I have.
And I know I have. And the question for you is, how does it make you feel? Do you find yourself wanting that?
I
or
do.
Romanticizing that?
I do.
Or even envious of what you think they have?
I'm not, because we have that.
Like most of what we share with you, a healthy, happy relationship takes a lot of work.
But that's a generic statement. We're going to break it down for you and see if you can come away empowered after this video to take your relationship to the next level.
This video came about because I have a really great friend, Carolyn, who's been married for over 30 years. And when you talk to her, she can remember the first time she saw her husband, how he looked, the twinkle in his eyes, how he laughed, the stories he told, and most importantly, how he made her feel. Over the course of 30 plus years together, they've raised a family, they had 2 careers, they bought and sold houses, they've lost loved ones, they had tons of successes and many failures. And over time, each of them have changed a lot.
You know, when I get in a bad way in our relationship, which is very rare, I tell you what always...
Very rare?
Very rare.
Or just rare?
Very rare. Very rare. But here's what I do when I find myself in a bad way with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I go back.
This is not on the script, so go.
I go back to the very first time I saw you. The very first time. I remember our very first conversation. And it was a business meeting, and it was a business relationship. And I remember my first question at the dinner that night. You know, I was really interested. You just come into town to take over the office. And do you remember my question?
You asked me, what was your leadership style?
Yeah, what was your management style?
Nope, leadership
Leadership. What was your leadership style with your team? And you looked at me like I had 2 heads. Like, what the hell kind of question is that? But I was so intrigued with your answer. I really wanted to know what it is. And I really, you know, we had a great business relationship for about 18 months, got to know each other. And I had so much respect for you as a leader. And then I asked you out on our first date 18 months later.
That was nice.
But when I am in a bad place, I go to that.
You know, so what Mark
I went there 3 times this morning.
So what Mark and I have done is we've asked some friends, you know, how do you keep the magic? We asked them, and their answers are really what we want to share with you today, because they're the people that you see walking down the street, holding hands, or in magical conversations at dinner. One warning sign, though. This is hard work, and it is not magic.
Now, marriage can get tough. And later in life, as you leave your careers and come back together, you know, the divorce rate for gray divorce is up. That's people over 55. The divorce rate is up. We don't want that for ourselves, for sure. We're in a second marriage, so this one's going to last. That's why I got my go-to help.
Visualization?
Yeah. So we want
all new
yours.
to me.
What?
That's new to me that you do that.
I just started it this morning. That's not true. I do that a lot, actually. I do remember that moment.
Well, you
And
do
that
it a lot
brings me
because
back.
we're in tough situations.
I
a
know,
lot?
yeah, that's
wow, this
so-
is going south.
It is not. This is great. Are you kidding me? So we talk a lot about relationships. We want your relationship to be great. We want ours to be great. If you go to our YouTube channel, there's a separate area where it's all about relationships. We talk about this a lot. So we want to make sure you take a look at that. And for those of you who haven't been here before, my name is Mark Rollins.
And I'm Jody Rollins, and we started Retirement Transformed in 2017. Not only for us, but for you and the 10,000 people turning 65 every day.
And we don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather the lifestyle, the health, relationships, and more.
So if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified when our videos come out.
All right, so let's get into the list of 10.
Yeah, so these are the items that hit the highlight reel of successful secrets that couples have to keep their, what I call union strong. You
Right.
didn't like that word, but maybe their connection strong.
Whatever, marriage, connection, union, relationship.
So number one, they really get to know each other every day of their lives. Because what we have to remember in relationships are, over time, people change. And they change every day. Experiences change our views, behaviors change, and people just change. So many people are in a relationship that they knew the person from years before. And a lot of times they don't, in their mind, feel or see that the person has changed. So it's that check-in that they do.
I think I know you.
Sometimes.
You've changed and I know you. That's a good one. I like that. They get to know each other every day of their lives.
Reacquaint yourselves.
Second one is, these couples that are successful, they're realistic and understand that people make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes, but you are realistic and understand that I don't do these things on purpose.
Right.
But we all make mistakes. And you know what? It's okay. I didn't do it on purpose. And life can be difficult at times, and you get stressed out and confused, and you make a mistake. So cut people slack.
Well, and one of the things that each of the couples said to us was, forgiveness is really a superpower.
I have that.
You do. That's like one of your number one character traits, is Mark is super forgiving. So I agree with that. I can't tell you it's one of my superpowers.
Nope, it's not.
I believe in owning a mistake and then being able to move on.
Okay.
So that's me.
What's the third one?
The third one, they never, ever cheat on their spouses.
Yeah, it's bad.
If you want to torpedo your marriage and destroy your spouse, go ahead and cheat.
And I know guys that cheat on their wife and they get away with it, and she even knows about it.
In a previous marriage for me, that happened. And I can tell you, it's one of the most devastating things that impact a marriage.
Yeah.
So that was universal amongst all the couples that we talked to.
So it's not something that you do, it's something you don't do. Just don't do it.
Right.
And if you're doing everything else we're talking about, there's no need for that.
Right.
Well, the fourth one is they allow each other to disagree. And we disagree. I don't say we disagree a lot. We disagree.
Well, we're both pretty opinionated, so
You're a little more than me, but yeah, we are opinionated.
And I think the point is, if you do disagree, just realize you don't have to come to an agreement. If it's an important issue, you're going to have to do give and take because you love each other.
Right. That's the thing.
But you don't always have to agree. I
Right.
mean, I don't really know any couples that agree on everything.
No, and you have to find common ground. I think
Right.
that's a good tool in this area. Find some common ground. You can disagree, but there could be some things that you do agree on.
All right, so
So-
the fifth one is always point out great things about your spouse.
I love your hair today and your earrings.
Oh my God, it's pouring rain.
I know
My
it
hair is a
is.
disaster
But
today.
I-
But that's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, and I mean it sincerely. I think that not only point it out about your spouse to your spouse, but do it in front of other people.
Right.
My wife is the greatest mom and stepmom that ever existed. And when you say that in her presence with other people around, it's amazing.
It's
and
like
it's
a
true.
gift.
It's
almost.
a gift.
Yeah,
Gift.
you have to give them the gift.
So I think it's important to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
The sixth thing is really listen to each other. And again, universally, the couples we spoke to said, disagreements are stressful for any marriage, but they don't have to tear you apart. If your spouse is really upset by something that they've been trying to get you to do, listen to them. Just really take the time and actively listen.
I think the other part of this is when you're asking your spouse or partner questions about something that's going on in their life, do not respond with a solution. That's not what they're looking for. What was the I saw the finger.
I just did this.
I'm sure you're making faces
No.
again.
No.
Don't respond with a solution.
Yeah, actively listen. Continue
Actively
to
listen,
ask questions and be
Right.
a major contributor to the conversation.
So similar to what we said before, go out of your way.
Number 7.
Go out of your way to say nice things to each other. It's not that hard. You know, we have these morning routines, and at some point we always meet up. But that's when we're really kind to each other. How did you sleep? What
And
do you
really-
got planned for the day?
And really, it's go out of your way to do nice things for each
Yes,
other. So
yes.
not only say it, but do it. You know,
Right.
stopping at the store or picking up
Right.
chocolate chip cookies because
No.
that makes you happy. I mean, number 7 is really go out of your way to do
Yeah.
something nice.
Right.
Right?
The big thing, how you stay out of trouble, is number 8. Really connected couples who are really thriving in this time in their life, they have great communication skills. They respond, they don't react. They ask really good questions.
Right.
They don't provide solutions right away. They really find out what's wrong with the other person and what's happening.
And I thought it was kind of cool. One of the couples said most arguments start because there's been a miscommunication of some kind.
Right.
So if you know that going into it, you know how important communication is to the relationship, and it's really the backbone of the marriage.
Right.
So that was number 8.
Another core thing that successful couples do is they protect and they stand up for each other. You know, when we're in a conversation in front of some other people and somebody says something to Jody that's off color or is an insult or something, I will stand up for her, right?
Right.
Have
Oh,
I
you
done
do?
that?
Yeah.
Have I
yeah.
ever punched someone for you?
No.
No.
But a stereotypical example would be, you know, a meddling relative who is always taking the husband's side and tearing down the wife behind
Right,
her back.
right.
You know, these are attacks on both the spouse, the marriage, and the family unit, including the children. And it really can destroy a marriage. So really protecting and standing up for your partner almost at all costs. I mean,
Well,
we've
it
done the
feels
whole,
good.
we'll talk about that in the car ride
Yeah,
home,
but when you-
protecting and defending.
When
I
you
think is-
defend and protect me in front of other people, the feeling that I get
Right.
is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not that, oh, she took my side. That's not what it is.
So that was number 9.
You love me, you care about me, you let other people know about it.
That's
so
right.
that feels great. So
That's
thank
right.
you.
So number 10, I think, is really important, and we're finding balance in this as we move between, you know, our two houses. But number 10 is each person has to have their own lives, and you
Right.
guys have heard us talk about that before. You know, I'm sure you've met someone who's needy or felt incomplete or helpless without their spouse or partner. And, you know, these people put themselves in very precarious situations. The couples we talked to said each of them have their own lives, but they always reconnect.
Right. That's good. I love that. When we say our own lives, it means that we each have our own friends, we have our own hobbies, and we have our own
Space.
space.
Yeah.
So when we have that, that gives us time to do what we need to do on our own. But then we do a lot together as well.
Right.
But I think that that's really important.
Right.
You know, we talked about the reason for doing this is really to give you some tips on how to strengthen your relationship later in life.
Really practical, 10 practical things
Yeah.
that you can do. And
Yeah.
as long as they're top of mind, I mean,
Yeah.
we've given you a lot to think about, and we want you to take some time to digest it and put it into action, or leave some comments below for sure.
Yeah, comments are important. And if you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends and also subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. We want to get this out to as many people as we can.
And finally, join our free Facebook community. The link's in the notes below.
Thanks for listening. We look forward to being with you again.